ask you a question. Would you accept a job if I tell you that every breath you take at work could slowly damage your lungs? And most of us would probably say no, but for thousands of people, of coal miners around the world, that is not a hypothetical question. It is their reality. And every day they enter underground mines knowing that they will be surrounded by dust they can't even see. And that's what makes this story so important. And as you watch this presentation, think about one question. How much should someone have to sacrifice just to earn a living? So what exactly is coal dust? Good question. Coal dust is made up of extremely tiny particles that are released while miners cut, drill, and transport coal underground. So these particles are so small that they remain invisible to the human eye. And here's the scary part. Because they are so tiny, they don't just stay in your nose or throat. They travel deep into your lungs, where they build up over time. And you cannot see them. You certainly cannot feel them. But your lungs never forget they are there. So what happens next? Imagine throwing one grain of sand into a room. Nothing happens, right? Now imagine throwing another grain, and another, and another, and another, and another one, and every single day for years. Eventually, that room fills up, and that's very similar to what happens inside a miner's lung. Over time, these tiny dust particles accumulate, the lungs become inflamed, the scar tissue begins to form, and breathing becomes harder and harder every single day. Many miners indeed eventually develop a disease known as black lung disease, a condition that has no cure and can permanently affect a person's ability to breathe.
To visit with Danny Smith. He's a young guy. He's younger than what you'd expect for somebody to be so sick with this disease. So you said you had a rough time last night?
Yeah, I sleep in my chair, but
So you sleep out here in the living room in a
most
chair?
of the time I sleep in the recliner, yeah.
Danny Smith is just 47 years old. He mined coal only 12 years, but he's desperately sick.
Are you ready, Sissy?
Yeah.
Well, let Dad turn his oxygen off and I'll get my stuff ready and we'll go. I started getting shortness of breath around 2007, 2006. I could tell a difference in just the things that I was doing around here.
You want me to get this?
The oxygen, yeah, I need it. And in 2012, I believe it was, they'd done a CT scan and they seen all the spots on my lungs. They said, it's black lung. You're eat up with black lung. They put me in the hospital. I had 30-some pounds of fluid on me, on my lungs. I'm not feeling good today, baby. Didn't sleep good. I was scared. It was tough on all of us because my wife was scared that I was dying and I was scared that I was dying, and I was. Can you turn that oxygen on back there? Just pull that little green handle, just pull it like towards you. There we go. Now I gotta get it on my face. I think about all the hours that I worked. I was under 1 month. I never come outside for 4 days. I actually slept on the ground. And you sit and think about that and all the things that I give up with my family. You know, I work anywhere from 12 to 18 hours a day. Dying over it now, you know what I'm saying? I love you. Give me a kiss.
So in this part of the presentation, we're actually going to talk about how this ruins lives. The documentary shows that it isn't just older, retired miners getting sick anymore. Young guys in their 30s and even in their 40s are being diagnosed with severe incurable black lung. For their health, it means that they constantly gasp for air, have to sleep sitting up in chairs, and can't even play with their kids or grandkids. Environmentally, the damage spreads outside the mines. When machines cut through underground rock, they create massive dust clouds. This toxic dust blows out into the surrounding air, polluting local towns and poisoning the ecosystems where these families live in. So, the worst part about this sickness is that it's 100% preventable. First, miners need better safety gear like high quality respirators to block out the dust. Secondly, mining companies must use better ventilation systems to pump clean air underground. And the third biggest issue is fixing the broken rules. Government regulators are failing because they don't test for silica dust separately. Silica comes from cutting rock and is 20 times more toxic than regular coal dust. So we need stricter laws that force companies to limit this toxic dust and put worker safety ahead of fast profits. Alright, to wrap things up, let's test your knowledge with 3 quick true or false questions. Number 1. Coal dust is harmless because it's invisible. That's false. The tiny particles you can't see are actually the most dangerous because they can get trapped deep in your lungs forever. Number 2. Black lung disease can be prevented by reducing exposure to coal dust. That's true. Less dust means no disease. And finally, number 3. Coal mining only affects miners and has no impact on the environment whatsoever. That's false. The toxic dust pollutes the air and hurts nearby communities too. Yeah, coal powers our world, but the human cost is just way too high. These miners are sacrificing their health and are dying way too young just to provide us electricity. One of the sick miners in the video said it best when looking back at his time in the mines. We were all young men. We were just kids. But we worked hard. We killed ourselves here. When you hear something like that, you have to ask yourself, every time we flip a light switch, do we ever stop to think about the people who are literally suffocating to death just to keep the light on? No paycheck is worth losing your life over. So it's time for stronger laws and real accountability to protect the people who keep our lights on. Thank you.